So this presentation is completely on website traffic. How do I get people to my website? And it is a presentation because I'm explaining the theory about how different areas work together, and each one of these areas will be covered in more depth in a future blog post. So why do you want to learn this stuff in the first place? Basically, without website traffic, there's no point in having a website at all. One of the most frustrating experiences when people create websites when they realise that people won't just automatically find them, and they do need to do a load more work. And it's part of the reason why I developed Fluid Webworks, because there are things that you can do as part of your marketing activity to make this more likely. It is also getting more difficult to get found amongst the competition, and so that's why it's more important that you actually get on board as part of your building traffic activity. There are activities that you can carry out as part of your marketing work. So you don't need to pay somebody to do this. This is something that if you understand how it works, then you can do it. And it won't just be about building traffic. It will also be providing value for the people who have come to your website or are part of your target market. And you can pay someone, but it is important to understand what part they play in your overall strategy, what things you can do, and whether you really do need to get somebody on board, or whether you're willing to, and what to expect from them as well. An important note, it does take time. One of the main ways to get to get traffic is through the search engines, and they don't rank you overnight, especially. They need to see activity over time in order to provide you with a high ranking in their searches. So just so that you know, the basics of getting traffic, these are areas that in themselves will be covered in future posts, and the more that you tell me about what you're interested in, the more likely I'll do it more quickly and provide the information that you're looking for. So let me know. The first one is by building new traffic. Search engine optimization is making your website particularly optimized for search engines like Google, Bing, Yahoo, and whatever. So it's making sure that your content actually communicates with them well, gives them what they need to know in order to give you high ranking. And this is a massive subject in itself that will be covered in probably more than one blog post in the future. You can also get in front of other people's audiences. If you find out where your target market are already hanging out, maybe it's a forum, maybe it's a social media group, maybe it's somebody else's website, then try to get in front of them. There's lots of different ways you can do that. One is by having an inbound link coming from that. So an inbound link is a link that points to your website, but from somebody else's website. You can do that either by advertising. You can negotiate with them that you are featured on their link page, and in exchange you provide a link to them. You could also ask if you could produce a guest post, which is an opportunity for you to demonstrate your expertise, and in the bottom you do often have information about your website. You can also comment on other people's blog posts. Again, this is an opportunity for you to demonstrate expertise, so don't waste this experience on just saying, oh, thank you. And you can, usually as part of the comment, you can put a URL to your website, but not everyone does this, so don't waste a lot of time if they don't allow you to do that. You can also get inbound links from forums. If you do find a forum that's about your target market hang about on, then go there and don't spam the people. Actually provide genuine value to them, answer their questions, and eventually they'll be interested in knowing more about you. You may be able to produce a signature that allows you to put a link to your URL, a link to your website in there. So that's, some of them will allow you to do that. And you can also get inbound links from social media sites like Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. This is also part of a repeat traffic strategy, but it can be a way to produce new ones. And if you haven't already got social media accounts, then consider which is the most relevant to your website, to your target market, and where your target market is hanging out, and produce those social media accounts. You can also get repeat traffic. The reason why we want to do this is because when people first find you, you may not have the content or the product, or they may not be ready for you yet, but you don't want to waste that experience and that visit. So make sure there is a way for them to come back to you when you've got updated information. You can do this lots of different ways. There's having a social media account. So if someone's following you on Facebook or Twitter or even on LinkedIn, they're likely to see when you have an update to the content on your website. And they can come back if it's relevant to them. You can also allow them to subscribe via a newsletter or an RSS feed. I would recommend both, because then they've got the choice over. Some people prefer to use an RSS feed, and some people would prefer to get a newsletter or an email newsletter, more specifically, directly sent to them. What is SEO? This is the only one that I'm going to do a slide on completely because I think it is a big enough topic, and I think it's something that you can get on board with now. Basically, SEO is optimizing your site for search engines. So it's showing websites, search engines like Google, which content is most important for your website, and therefore what people who are looking for you on those search engines should be shown. So it's saying this website is about this topic, so you can feel confident showing people who search in your search engines my website. You can feel confident that I'm going to provide them with value. So one of the ways to do that is, or the most important ways to do that, is to decide what keywords you want to be found for. It can be a lot more useful if you can do this before you produce your website, but if you have to go back and tweak it, then so be it. The best way to find a keyword, or the most effective way to find the keywords that you want to use, is research it and choose one that, or choose key terms, keywords, it's all interchangeable, that are low competition and have high searches. You could find some search terms that are searched a lot, but there is so much competition, so much noise already by well-established websites that you're still not going to be found. So although you might think, oh, well, I want to be found for something like makeup, that would be lovely. I'm sure there are a lot of websites out there who want to be found for makeup, but try to find one that your particular niche or target market might want. For example, I've got the website Everything for Redheads. We have gone for makeup for pale skin, makeup for redheads, because they are very, very specific to our target market, and we're more likely to be ranked for it because it is something that people search for a lot, but it's got low competition. So produce content featuring those keywords. So this is blog posts, pages, guides. Find excuses to talk about your content. And you can do that by answering questions that your target market might be asking. The content itself, you need to sprinkle in these keywords all over the place. So as a basic explanation, you can include the keywords in the title of the blog post or page, in image tags, which I do recommend using an image if you can do, and I'll do another post on images anyway. In the meta tags, if you have WordPress, then that's very easy to do. And in the content itself, try to include them in the content as often as possible without actually seeming like you're just writing for a machine. So be reasonable, balance it out. So action time, checklist, time to get moving. Research your keywords and decide what you want to be found for. I am going to do another blog post that actually shows you exactly how to research keywords, and it actually helps for you to produce website content as well, so keep an eye out for that. Create your social media accounts like Twitter or Facebook and work on building a following. There are different ways of building a following depending upon which social media account you go for, and deciding which social media site to use depends upon your target market. You could use all of them, but sometimes it can be difficult to do it very, very well when you're using all of them. Create content on your website relevant to your target market. So if you know that your target market are asking questions, then if you can produce blog posts and pages that answer those questions and use your keywords heavily in that content. It means that you might be found not when your target market are looking for your product, but maybe when they're just looking to answer another question and they just find you that way. Also, go where your target market is hanging out and just engage with them. Talk on the forums. It's actually a brilliant market research opportunity as well, because you actually find out the problems that they're having, and you could see opportunities for further products as well. And I would love if you come back for more. If this is the kind of information that you need for your website, and if you want to know about the future posts that I've talked about when we go into further depth in these subjects, then you can subscribe on YouTube or via the newsletter on Fluid Web Works. You get the newsletter straight to your inbox. And if you like, then please like. If you found this content to be valuable, then I'm sure that somebody else that you know will do as well. So share it on Facebook, on Twitter, wherever you like. And I hope to see you next time. Bye.